tell them check out the blog, bro. YouTube channel called MKO. It's pugilism, boxing algorithm. M stand for Marvin and Kevin's initials KO. Yeah. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? This is the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel. We're talking all things boxing right about now. Remember to like, remember to subscribe to this channel. More content will be on its way to you shortly. And today I'm going to speak a little bit again about the heavyweight division and the mandatory situations between the WBC in terms of Dillian Whyte and the WBO in terms of with respect to Alexander Usyk. And the reason I'm talking about this is because on both sides they seem to be digging their heels in and demanding their shot at the heavyweight titles, at the respective belts. So we've got Dillian Whyte, who, as I said in a previous video, he has taken out legal action against the WBC, and it actually seems like the WBC is listening to Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, because the president, Mauricio Suleiman, has said that this deal that is on between Anthony Joshua and Tyson the Gypsy King Fury is all just speculation from the WBC's perspective. And they said that before any defense of their belt happens, so in other words, after the Deontay Wilder fight, after that's done between Fury and Wilder, it is then going to be Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte's turn at the belt. So in other words, he's going to get his shot, according to the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman. It's even come to the point where I believe it was the Sun newspaper said that they're now going to sort of guarantee Dillian Whyte his shot at the WBC belt. So that shot that Dillian Whyte's been waiting for let's say 1,000 days seems to be on its way. Of course, it's not going to really be anytime soon. I believe it's going to be at the very earliest the first quarter of next year, because we don't even know the state of Deontay Wilder with his injuries. We don't know the date of Fury Wilder 3 yet. So obviously that is, that shot of his is going to have to wait until after that. So you're talking at some point in 2021. Maybe it will be the February of 2021. We don't know. But anyway, Dillian Whyte is there, and he's looking for his shot. And then on the other side, with the WBO, they allowed Anthony Joshua to make his mandatory IBF title defense, which is going to take place at some point towards the end of this year. Maybe November, maybe December, could even be October. It really does depend. I'm not in the Matchroom headquarters. I'm not involved in that, so I wouldn't know. But I'm assuming it's going to be an autumn sort of winter fight, Joshua versus Pulev. So the Usyk camp, his management, his team or whatever, they said, right, we're happy to let Joshua make his defense of his IBF. But as soon as he makes his IBF defense, and assuming Joshua beats Kubrat Pulev, we want our shot next. So Team Usyk are also, they're demanding their shot. They're saying, well, once you're finished with Pulev, we want next, because we're mandatory for the WBO. And with the WBO, the way it works is that even if you're coming from one division into another, so in Usyk's case, he came from cruiserweight, he jumped up to heavyweight, and because he was WBO champion at cruiserweight, he was undisputed as well, of course. But the WBO have this rule that you get a shot at the title in the division that you move to. So he was automatically a mandatory when he moved up to heavyweight. So he's got every right to demand his shot at Anthony Joshua, should Anthony Joshua win. So we've got two guys here that could potentially put a spanner in the works of the undisputed fight, because there was the news that came out, as we all know, that Fury versus AJ, there's a 2-fight deal in place for starting from next year at some point. And they've got a 2-fight deal, 1 fight and then rematch, 50-50 split, then 60-40. I went through that in another video. And so, you know, there is a potential here, I believe, for the apple cart, as they say, the figurative apple cart, to be upset, as this could potentially, if these two guys really dig their heels in, so Whyte with the WBC, Usyk with the WBO, this could push the undisputed fight back even further. And this is this could be a major concern for boxing fans. I mean, for me personally, I would like to see the undisputed fight after Wilder, Fury 3 and Joshua versus Pulev. That would absolutely be my preference. I think the undisputed fight should take sort of precedence over it. I believe that's what should be next. But also, I believe a governing body has its rules. So the WBO, they've got their rules. Usyk's the mandatory, so I can't sit here and say, well, he doesn't deserve his shot. But what do you guys think? If Usyk does get his shot against Joshua, what sort of chance do we give him? I mean, me personally, I think if his shot against Joshua comes immediately after the Pulev fight, I would favor Joshua to beat him. I think it would probably be a case of Joshua just being too big and too strong for a guy like Alexander Usyk. I think he would just be a bit too big, bit too strong. But again, that's just a slight favoring of Joshua. I'm not saying I'm 100% on that, but that would be my prediction going in. I think Joshua, as long as he just used his size and his strength, just cut the ring off, he could definitely defeat Usyk. But at the same time, Usyk is a guy with a tremendous engine. He's a guy that can throw punches in bunches for 12 rounds. Great movement, great ring IQ. So at the same time, I wouldn't rule out a quote-unquote sort of upset victory in Usyk's favor, but I would favor Joshua slightly. And likewise, if Whyte was to face Tyson Fury, let's just assume Tyson Fury wins, I would slightly favor Tyson Fury, but I think Dillian Whyte gives him a very tough fight. I think Dillian Whyte gives Fury a very, very tough fight. I think I would definitely favor Fury because of his sort of height and reach and the way he's able to move around the ring and his lateral movement. I think he'd have perhaps too many tools for a guy like Whyte. He might be, in my opinion, he might be a little bit too tricky. I think Whyte would probably struggle with the movement of a Tyson Fury. That is, if Tyson Fury decided to box and move and stick a move and that sort of strategy. But I think if either Whyte could sort of cut the ring off, make it a phone book fight, make it a fight up close and personal, I think I'd definitely give Whyte a chance of winning. But I think overall Fury's just got that sort of superior skill set. But that would be interesting if those fights happened. I'm not too sure if they will. I think there's many that are suggesting that in the case of Usyk, it might just be a money thing where you just offer enough money and Eddie Hearn digs in his pocket, offers a good few million for Usyk to step aside and allow for the undisputed fight to take place. As far as Whyte goes, though, I mean, I don't know how Usyk will take that. Maybe he will still dig his heels in and say, nah, it's not the money, it's something else. But, who knows? But I think in the case of Dillian Whyte now, I believe Dillian Whyte is going to stick his heels in. I don't believe Dillian Whyte will take a step aside offer. I think he's just been waiting way too long. for this shot to be taking step aside money. So I reckon of the two of them, Whyte is going to be the hardest to deal with in terms of stepping aside. And I think the way the undisputed fight might have to happen may even be a Tyson Fury, because he's already quite dismissive of Dillian Whyte, and he's already sort of been talking down on Whyte, talking down on Joshua. I think it might even just come down to Fury saying, just forget about this belt, and maybe the WBC might make him a franchise champion, something like that, just in order to allow him to do what he wants, and then allow the undisputed fight to take place. It's one of those, though. Ultimately, I can only sort of speculate until more news comes out. But yeah, that's just my views on this. You know, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think either Whyte or Usyk could be a spanner in the works, could cause an upset and cause the undisputed fight to be scrapped? You know, or do you think the undisputed should be prioritized, or should the mandatories be prioritized? You know, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. Until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out. I shall see you on the next vid.